Hello, League. It's your fateful, fair, and second place commissioner who no longer has viable keepers for this season. I wanted to make this video today. We are shit, man. We're a fucking month out from it being draft month. Uh, if you guys look in the Facebook group, I've put messages in there talking about when I want the draft to occur. There's about a 3 week period where I think we can get it done. Um, obviously, we'll be hosting it at my apartment again, and in doing so, trying to get everyone together is obviously a hassle because we're pretty much all adults and mentally not so much. But we're all adults. We all have our own things and our own shit to take care of. So I want to try to get this done as fast as possible. I don't want this to be the main point of the video because it's not, but we need to find the time to figure out when our draft day is going to be. There are no rule changes for this year. I was kind of inactive on trying to get some of the rules I want in the league. And part of this video will describe some of those and everything I want a little precursor. Everything in this video I talk rule wise or adjustment, with the exception of one, and I'll make that clear, are not happening this season. It's all stuff I want to happen next season. That way you can play with the new rules in mind coming for the future, uh, and all that good shit. I don't want to have to start fucking people's mindsets right before a draft and cause problems where there doesn't need to be. I obviously don't want to make this a super long video, and it probably will be 95% of me saying because I didn't. This is all off the top of the noggin, and I'm just kind of going for it. And I fucking hate editing, so I'm not going to cut this up. It's just going to be one long shot, and that's going to be it. Uh, we'll start with the biggest changes first. The one that's actually going to happen this season. Just because obviously you don't want to sit through an entire fucking video, and I'm not going to make you do that because that's fucking stupid. Uh, Steve and Trace have elected to co-own a team with each other. So your mom's tats will be no more. They will both be moving under the banner of Victoria's Secret for this season. Um, it's kind of like a trial run. We're not sure if this is going to last all of this season or if this is going to uh, carry on and be a full time thing. Uh, I have a friend of mine named Michael who will be taking his position, or well, Steve's team over. He's a pretty serious fantasy football player. It seems like he's the one that's going to take over the team. He's got some shit kind of going on the side right now, so we'll figure out 100% if that's the case. I have a couple other people that I think could come in, just in case if there's a situation where he's got to bail out, or if he thinks it isn't right for him, or whatever. Real life shit is real life shit, and that's not what we're here to deal with. But yeah, so that's the big news. Is Steve is going to be moving to co-own a team with Trace this season. Uh, I don't see it affecting anybody besides them, to be perfectly frank. There's no real downside to this, with the exception we lose Steve as his own independent owner, and we lose the fun of making fun of Steve's roster decisions, which is unfortunate, but is going to be the case for this season. Uh, in terms of next season, uh, if Steve elects that he is tired of trying to talk with Trace about roster moves and etc., and he wants to make his own team again, uh, and Michael wants to stay, we will probably adjust to be a 12-team league, and that does affect everybody. There will be more free agent issues, stuff like that will occur. The prize pool will be bigger, which I don't see as necessarily a bad thing, but some people might. On the topic of next season, I did mention I was going to talk. I'm probably making so much noise by hitting that. I lost my train of thought, and I'm talking about the rules of next season. That's where I was. We'll start off with the free agent thing. I spoke about this a little bit last season, and I'm still on it for next season, not this upcoming season. I would love to adjust our free agent acquisition stuff from the waiver wire thing. I'm kind of over how that works, and there's a much better system out there uh, called Fab. You may remember the video where I spoke about it very briefly with Joey, and he kept calling it FAP instead of Fab because that's my life. Uh, but I really like to adjust that system. I do plan on making a video that explains it, or I can explain it during draft day, or I can explain it next off season, or while we're nearing the end of the season this year to try to sell you guys on it. But honestly, I think it's a much better system, and I won't go into much bigger details than that. The second rule change, kind of rule change I want to look at is we all niched the $5 free agent move thing. I understand. That's a bit rich. Uh, my compromise in my head that I've kind of come up with that I'd like to enact, and once again, I'm not going to change any of those rules without at least a majority vote from the rest of the league. So don't think I'm just going to like dictate it and change shit because that's not going to happen. Is a $1 per free agent move. I think that's fair, and I think it'll add a little bit of spice because I'm going to change how I'd want to do it. Most leagues that do that would put the money gained from the free agency over into the final prize pool. I don't think that's rewarding enough. I think that people who are near the bottom, they'll discourage free agent moves, and I think that's kind of horseshit. I don't think that's a good way to encourage activity. So what I want to do is put that at the end of each week. The highest scoring team of each week will win that free agency pool money gained from that week. Now, obviously, it could be a very minimum sum if there's only 5 free agent moves the entire out of all the teams that week. You're only going to win $5, but $5 is $5. Or it could be as grand as a $25 win in 1 week, and that's half your and I mean that's half your entry fee in 1 week if you get the highest score. So I think that's a fun way to incentivize words are hard to get you to kind of go along with this rule that I want to put in. Uh, but yeah, so there's that bit right there. That's I think I had one more, but I'm forgetting it at the moment. Oh, right. So this is kind of a doozy, and I probably should have not opened with it, but put it second because now it is at the end of the video, and you're probably tired of hearing me say and breathe. But the idea of keepers is kind of tricky. We do the two keepers. You lose the round they were drafted in. If you keep them, blah blah blah, it goes up around. I'm still okay with that. I still love that rule. My issue was, uh, for example, last season, uh, who was it? It was Trace. Trace got to keep fucking uh, Kamara and I mean, Derrick Henry didn't really pan out, but he got to keep them in like the seventh round, and that's not okay. That breaks balance pretty hard. So this year, it's been changed where you're going to lose a fifth round pick for a free agent keeper. I think that brings it up a little bit to line, but I mean, you could still get a round 1, 2 guy in the fifth round, and that's pretty brutal. So my proposed change for obviously not this season, but next season is going to be to eliminate keeping free agents. Uh, to put that in perspective on why we should do that, if you look at what's probably going to be available in the first round, 1, 2, 3 rounds, probably first 2 rounds in this year's draft, there's not a lot of exciting picks there. It's all what you would say would be like third round guys, or some of them are still first round guys, but you lose a little bit of that draft pick feeling like it means something. And um, I feel like this will help increase the draft pool if we prevent people from keeping free agents. Uh, it'll make people think a little bit more when they're doing their draft. Do they blow that 13th round pick on that person that might be worth something next season? Do they uh, not it'll make your keepers a little bit more easier to manage too. It makes my life a little bit easier in the fact that I don't have to search through everyone's drafts from last season, see if it was a free agent and see where they go and handle all that stuff. So it's a little bit for me, a little bit for you guys. It's a thing that I've seen constantly suggested on forums and Reddit and podcasts, and I honestly think it's the right way to go. Uh, but yeah, that's about it for the rule changes. So rule change proposed rule changes and news that's happening. Long story short, let's figure the fuck out when our draft is going to be. We need to do this. I would prefer as soon as possible so we can get planned. People can make time for it. People can find babysitters or find uh, wife sitters, girlfriend sitters, and uh, I don't fucking know. Just find some time to have some good fucking laughs with your buds and fucking drink some beer and do some drafting. Uh, Draft day is probably my favorite day of the year, especially because you can just get everyone together. We all have a great time, and I fucking love it. Out of staters, I'm sorry you don't get to experience that. I'm still working on a way to fine tune how to get you guys in. I think last year went really well. If people, Mark, pay attention to who is a keeper and who isn't, I'll figure out a better way to send that to you guys uh, in some kind of format that works. I'm still quickie draft. I think is going to be the best, but I'm working on a way. I've been trying to research a way to do it. Uh, but yeah, so there's that. Uh, Steve and Trace are now co-owning a team. We'll have a new owner very soon. I believe it's going to be my buddy Michael. Uh, he's a pretty experienced fantasy football player. I'm going to be excited to have him join us if he decides to. It sounds like he's pretty much in. But if not, I have a couple other ideas that who may be able to join us. Let's see, what else would there be? The possible inclusion of a 12-team league next season, depending on what Steve and Trace decide to do with their team, or if they want to keep it their team, or if they want to split, or if Mike wants to quit. However, that ends up working, or if we lose someone else during the season, who knows? That's a couple. It's fucking 2 years. It's a year from now, so I ain't worried about it. Proposed rule changes. Uh, the free agency fab going to fab system. The $1 free agent move with a weekly winner for highest point total. Uh, there was the other one, and it was the last one. And the keeper situation. Not being able to keep free agent keepers uh, for that season, thus gaining a weird unfair advantage and kind of muddling the draft board, if you will. But that's it, guys. I'm gonna get and talk with Ryan because apparently he's not gonna watch this because he needs to have his fucking victory lap video. So probably the next video you guys do will see. It'll be 15 to 20 to 30 fucking minutes of Ryan gloating and probably trying to rub my face in the dirt that my dynasty crumbled in a year because of arthritis and women beating. It's like a retirement home, but worse. Anyways, have a wonderful evening, day, morning, whenever you guys end up watching this. And we'll see you guys in the next video. And I'll see you fuckers on draft day, baby. Let's get it.